I want to tell you about one of my patients. Her name is unimportant, but her story is remarkable. At 46 years old, she weighed 218 pounds and felt miserable. She had been doing everything she thought she was supposed to do to lose weight. Nothing was working. She was losing and regaining the same 5 pounds over and over again. The strategies that had worked in her 20s and 30s simply did not work anymore. She came to me frustrated, tired, and ready for something different. I've spent my career helping people understand what actually works for their bodies, especially as they age. This woman's story is one that changed not just her life, but how I think about weight loss for my patients over 40. Today, I'm going to share with you the 5 things she did differently that led to losing 90 pounds and transforming her entire life. She made a decision one day that changed everything. She asked herself a simple question: if what I'm doing isn't working, why would I keep doing it? She decided to do something completely opposite from conventional weight loss wisdom. And the results were almost immediate. In the first 75 days alone, she lost 30 pounds. Then she continued. Over 9 months, she lost 70 pounds. The loose skin around her abdomen became significant enough that she had a tummy tuck. After that surgery, she lost an additional 16 pounds. Then she trained for a marathon and lost another 16 pounds. By the end of her journey, she had lost approximately 90 pounds total at age 46 and beyond. But more importantly than the number on the scale was how she felt. She had energy again. She felt confident again. She felt like herself again. And the strategies she used are something I want to share with you today because they work. They work because they address the actual problems, not just the symptoms. Let me explain why this patient's story matters so much to me. As a doctor, I see countless people struggling with weight. Most of them have tried everything. They've done expensive diets. They've tried extreme exercise programs. They've used supplements and medications. And they've failed repeatedly. They come to me defeated, thinking their body is broken or their age makes weight loss impossible. But this patient's story shows that's simply not true. What's broken isn't the body. What's broken is the approach. When you fix the approach, the body responds. The first thing that made the biggest difference in her weight loss was eliminating processed sugar from her diet. She described herself as a sugar junkie. More accurately, she had a sugar addiction. She needed processed sugar every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. Cakes, candies, pies, ice cream, donuts. She was eating trail mix by the handful just for the chocolate candy pieces in it. If she realized at the end of the day that she hadn't eaten processed sugar, her brain would not shut off. It would obsess about it. She would convince her husband to take her out for ice cream or donuts at 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night just to satisfy that craving. This is actually medically important. Sugar addiction is real. Brain imaging studies show that sugar activates the same reward centers as cocaine and other addictive drugs. When she ate sugar, her brain released dopamine. Her brain learned to crave that dopamine hit. So when the day ended without that sugar hit, her brain was literally in withdrawal. That's not a character flaw. That's neurobiology. Understanding this helped her approach sugar elimination not as a moral failing, but as breaking a genuine chemical dependency. Here's what's important to understand. She wasn't weak. She wasn't lacking willpower. She was experiencing actual addiction. Sugar affects the brain's reward centers in similar ways to addictive drugs. It creates cravings. It creates dependency. She recognized this and decided that this time things would be different. She participated in a 75-day challenge that required eating clean with no cheat meals. She defined a cheat meal as any processed sugar. For 75 days straight, she committed to no processed sugar. What happened was remarkable. At the end of 75 days, she had lost 30 pounds. More importantly, she lost significant belly fat. She had always heard that belly fat is the last to go when losing weight. But she realized something important. The belly fat was probably caused by the sugar in the first place. When she eliminated the sugar, the belly fat started to disappear immediately. She proved to herself that processed sugar was a major part of her problem. Now, the question she gets asked constantly is how she managed the cravings when quitting sugar cold turkey. Her answer reveals the second major strategy. She increased her protein intake at the same time she quit sugar. This is scientifically important. Protein digests more slowly than carbohydrates or fats. It stays in your digestive tract longer, which means you feel full longer. When you feel full, you don't crave food. When you don't crave food, you don't eat excess calories. This is called satiety. When you eat protein, your body has to work harder to digest it. Your digestive system is active longer. Your brain receives signals that you're full and satiated. Compare this to eating refined carbohydrates, which digest quickly and provide only temporary fullness. You eat a refined carb breakfast and you're hungry again 2 hours later. You eat a high-protein breakfast and you stay full for 4 to 5 hours. This is biology, not willpower. This is why her strategy worked so well. But she did something even more specific. She front-loaded her protein. This means eating more protein at breakfast than at other meals. While she ate 30 to 40 grams of protein at lunch and dinner, she ate 50 to 60 grams of protein at breakfast. This simple change had enormous impact. She would avoid the mid-morning snack urge because she was still full from breakfast. She would skip the mid-afternoon trip to the vending machine. She wouldn't snack after dinner because she was satiated all day. This is the key insight. Snacking is what derails most weight loss journeys. It's the extra calories between meals that kick you out of a calorie deficit. When you're not hungry, you don't snack. When you don't snack, you stay in a calorie deficit. When you stay in a calorie deficit, you lose weight. It's that simple. And the strategy is just as simple. Eat enough protein, especially at breakfast, to stay full throughout the day. The third strategy she used was tracking. I know many people hate tracking. It feels tedious and restrictive to write down everything you eat. But tracking reveals the truth. It's hard to argue with data in black and white. Most people dramatically underestimate the calories, fats, carbohydrates, and sugars in their food. She used a TDEE calculator to determine her protein goal and her carbohydrate and fat targets. She used MyFitnessPal to track everything she ate and to monitor her sugar intake. In fact, research shows that people underestimate their calorie intake by an average of 500 calories per day. They're not being dishonest or forgetful. They're just not aware of hidden calories in foods they think are healthy. A smoothie that seems innocent might have 400 calories and 40 grams of sugar. A salad dressing that seems like a small amount might add 200 calories of fat. A handful of nuts that seems reasonable might be 300 calories. These hidden calories add up quickly and completely derail weight loss efforts. When she started tracking, she discovered this pattern in her own eating. What she discovered was eye-opening. Even when eating clean and avoiding processed sugar, there was hidden sugar everywhere. Fruits have natural sugars. Sauces have added sugars. Seemingly healthy foods had more sugar than expected. Without tracking, she never would have known how much sugar she was consuming. With tracking, she could see exactly where she stood against her daily targets and make adjustments at each meal. Do I need more protein? Can I eat fewer carbs at dinner? Have I hit my sugar limit? She told me that tracking is one of those things nobody really enjoys doing, but it provides such valuable data that you really can't be successful without it, at least for a while. She encouraged starting with just 1 week of tracking everything. The results are always surprising. Most people discover they're consuming far more sugar than they realized. In her case, she realized that when she was eating processed sugar on top of all the hidden sugar, she was consuming astronomical amounts of sugar daily. The fourth strategy was exercise, and this one taught her something important about conventional wisdom. She started with walking. Walking is dramatically underrated as an exercise for weight loss. She chose walking partially out of laziness. Before her weight loss journey, she had been doing high-intensity cardio and boot camp classes. She was running on treadmills. None of it worked because she wasn't eating right. When she started her weight loss journey, she needed to exercise twice a day, so she chose walking because it's low impact and can be done anywhere. She walked for 45 minutes each time, twice a day. That added up to about 10,000 steps daily. She wasn't power walking or huffing and puffing. She was simply strolling around her neighborhood. And in 75 days, she lost 30 pounds just from walking. She wasn't running. She wasn't lifting weights. She wasn't doing high-intensity workouts. She was just putting on walking shoes and moving her body consistently. Now, many people would dismiss this as insufficient exercise. They believe that if you're not sweating and exhausted, you haven't worked hard enough. But this is actually a misconception that stops many people from succeeding. Consistency beats intensity for weight loss. A moderate activity done daily is far more effective than intense exercise done occasionally. Walking is also sustainable. You can walk every single day without burning out. You can walk for years without injury. You can walk at any age and any fitness level. These qualities make it exceptionally powerful for sustainable weight loss. This reveals an important truth. Walking is incredibly effective for weight loss. It's a full-body workout. It's low impact. It elevates your heart rate. You get all the benefits of other exercises without the intensity. Many people think they don't burn enough calories walking, or that they don't sweat enough, so it must not be working. But nutrition is 80% of the weight loss equation. If you're doing what you're supposed to do in the kitchen, walking is every bit as effective as any other workout. She proved this through her own experience. However, after the first 75 days, she decided to progress her exercise routine. This is where the fifth strategy comes in. She added strength training. This is when things really changed. She started walk running and incorporated weight training. When she picked up weights, the fat began to melt off in ways that walking alone could not achieve. Here's something interesting that happened. The scale didn't move as much. She had stopped being a daily scale watcher. She pulled out her scale every few weeks instead. Sometimes the scale showed only 4 pounds lost in a month, which is 1 pound per week. Some people would be discouraged by that. But when she looked in the mirror, she looked like she had lost 15 to 20 pounds. This is because of muscle replacement. A pound of fat and a pound of muscle weigh the same, but a pound of muscle takes up significantly less space in your body. When you burn fat and replace it with muscle, the scale might not move much, but your body composition changes dramatically. You look leaner. You look more toned. Your clothes fit differently. She went from size 12 to size 6 to size 4. The scale didn't always reflect these changes, but her appearance did. She didn't start with heavy weights. Many women fear strength training because they worry about looking bulky or masculine. She started with light weights, 5, 8, and 15-pound weights, and progressed from there. She worked her way up gradually at her own pace. Even today, she doesn't lift very heavy. But she strength trains 3 to 4 times per week and maintains her muscle mass while continuing to burn fat. Strength training was like pouring gasoline on a fire for her fat loss. The combination of burning fat while building muscle created the dramatic transformation she achieved. She went from size 12 to size 6 to size 4. She went from 218 pounds at age 46 to losing 90 pounds and feeling like herself again. The scale didn't tell the whole story. The mirror and her clothes did. Let me summarize these 5 strategies because they're powerful. First, eliminate processed sugar. Recognize it as an addiction and address it seriously. The belly fat that many people struggle with is often directly linked to sugar consumption. When you remove the sugar, the fat responds quickly. Second, increase protein intake, especially at breakfast. Front-loading protein keeps you full throughout the day, preventing snacking and excessive calories. Third, track your food intake. It's tedious, but it reveals the truth about what you're eating. You'll be shocked by hidden sugars and calories. Fourth, don't underestimate walking. It's incredibly effective when combined with proper nutrition. It's low impact and sustainable. Fifth, add strength training to your routine. It transforms your body composition in ways cardio alone cannot. Each change made the next change easier and more effective. This is how sustainable transformation happens. It's not one dramatic change. It's multiple small changes that work together and reinforce each other. I want to emphasize something else that's important. She didn't do this perfectly. There were days she wanted to quit. There were times she faced challenges. There were moments when the scale didn't move for weeks and she felt discouraged. But she kept going. She stayed consistent. She trusted the process. That consistency over time is what created the transformation. Too many people expect weight loss to be linear. They lose 2 pounds this week, 2 pounds next week, 2 pounds the week after. That's not how the body works. Some weeks you'll lose 3 pounds. Some weeks you'll lose nothing. Some weeks the scale might even go up slightly due to water retention or hormones. What matters is the trend over months, not the daily or weekly number. These 5 strategies work together. They address the root causes of weight gain. They work for women over 40 because they account for how bodies change with age. They work because they're sustainable, not extreme. They work because they're backed by science and proven through real human experience. Too many people look at transformation stories and think they're looking at someone special or different, but they're not. They're just like you. They struggled. They had the same doubts and fears. They faced the exact same obstacles and challenges. The difference is they decided to try something different and they committed long enough to see real results. This takes courage. This takes consistency. But it's absolutely possible for anyone willing to do it. This is especially important for women over 40. The hormone changes that happen at midlife are absolutely real. Your metabolism does slow down compared to when you were younger. Your body does become more resistant to traditional weight loss strategies that worked in your 20s and 30s. But that doesn't mean weight loss becomes impossible. It means you need a different approach. And that different approach is exactly what this patient discovered and what I'm sharing with you. Her story also shows that your age doesn't matter. She was 43 when she started. I've seen people in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s successfully lose weight using these exact strategies. The body responds to these strategies regardless of age. It just requires consistency and the right approach for your life stage and body type. I've seen this pattern repeated many times in my practice. Women come in frustrated, doing everything they think they should be doing, seeing no results. They make these changes. They eliminate processed sugar. They increase protein. They track their intake. They walk consistently. They add strength training. And they transform, not just their bodies, but their entire lives. The reason I'm sharing this patient's story with you is because I want you to know that if you're struggling with weight, if you're over 40 and nothing seems to work anymore, there are answers. The answers aren't found in extreme diets or intense workouts. They're found in addressing the actual problems: sugar addiction, inadequate protein, hidden calories, inconsistent movement, lack of muscle maintenance. Address these 5 things and your body will respond. This woman's transformation didn't happen overnight. It happened over months through consistent application of these principles. 75 days to lose 30 pounds, then another several months to lose the additional 60 pounds, then strength training to transform body composition. Total time from start to finish, approximately 1 year. 1 year to lose 90 pounds and transform her entire relationship with her body and her health. What strikes me most about this patient's story is not just the 90 pounds she lost, it's that she reclaimed her life. She reclaimed her confidence. She reclaimed her energy. She reclaimed her relationship with her body. These intangible benefits are more valuable than any number on a scale. She went from being miserable to being happy. That transformation is what really matters. That's what I want for every person who comes to me struggling with weight. The science is clear. The strategies work. The path forward is obvious. What's needed now is action. Start today. Pick one of these 5 strategies. Eliminate sugar, or increase protein, or start tracking, or begin walking, or add strength training. Pick one. Do it consistently. After a few weeks, add another. Keep building. The results will come. The most powerful part of this patient's story isn't the 90 pounds. It's that she proved to herself that change is possible. She proved that her age wasn't an excuse. She proved that conventional wisdom wasn't her only option. She proved that when you address the actual problems, your body will transform. And if she can do it, so can you. If this story resonated with you and you're ready to make changes in your own life, please give this video a like and subscribe. There's so much more to understand about losing weight after 40 and creating sustainable health changes that actually work.